A few years ago, I reviewed every Electronic Gaming Monthly April Fool's joke, from Sheng Long in Street Fighter to topless girls in Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. We then followed that up with an exhaustive look at every single LamePro joke from the 1990s that was found in GamePro magazine. With those under my belt, the obvious next step is Nintendo Power. Unfortunately, there's just one small problem. Their April Fool's pranks are terrible. Let's just go ahead and take a look at their very first joke, published in their 5th issue in 1989. At the back of the magazine, on page 84, we see Nintendo announce a new interactive experience called the A.F.D reality game system that'll be fun, educational, and all derived directly from real experiences that players might one day experience. This includes domestic games like Mommy Kong, Kids Sisters Are Us, and Russian Hat Rack, which pit your hat tossing skills against those of a trained bear named Sasha. And just in case it wasn't clear that this is a goof, Nintendo Power let you down gently by concluding that if you're one of those who were wondering what A.F.D stands for, it turns out that it is short for April Fool's Day. Gotcha! Okay, look, I think we can all agree that this is bad. And it's not like the jokes get a whole lot better in the following years, let me tell you. I'm not gonna lie, a whole episode of Nintendo Power jokes is gonna be a real slog. But wait a second, what's this on the next page? It's the world's first Nintendo Entertainment System trivia test. A comical quiz that only seemed to show up in Nintendo Power's April issues before quietly being discontinued. I suppose I could do the right thing and continue looking at Nintendo Power's so-called jokes, but screw that. I want to take the quiz. So go and grab your pen and paper, because you're about to join me as I take Nintendo Power's NES trivia test. Happy April Fool's Day. I got my pen and paper in hand, and I am ready to do this. I'm so excited to do another quiz. It's been such a long time. We used to do so many of these. We need to get back into doing quizzes. Anyway, I haven't actually looked ahead too much in this. I don't know any of the questions. I kind of skimmed it. It looks like the format is they're going to ask a question, and we're going to get 3 choices. One obvious right answer, and then 3 jokey answers. And so hopefully I should ace this. I'll be honest with you, I know a lot about the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was there at a very formidable part of my childhood. I am all set. I still play the Nintendo Entertainment System quite a bit. So I am set to ace this, and hopefully you're going to be right there with me. Let's just dive into question number 1. How many minus worlds are contained in Super Mario Bros.? A, only 1 at the end of 1, 2, except no substitutions. B, 12 in the middle of 4, 6. C, 439 at the beginning of World 8314A. Ooh, that's a lot of levels. And D, 4 minus worlds, 3 positive dimensions, 2 neutral planes, and a partridge in a pear tree. They brought jokes, friends. They brought jokes. All right. I think we all know that the only right answer here is A. Only 1 at the end of World 1, 2, except no substitutions. It's a fun little glitch. I'm sure that if you knew about it, that you showed it off to all your friends like I did back in the day. There may be more, but I don't remember any. That is the one and only, so I'm going with A. By the way, we're gonna answer all 13 questions first, and then we're gonna loop back around, and we're going to see how I did and score then. All right, moving on. Number 2. How does one get out of the blank minus world at the end of World 1, 2? Well, it looks like I got the first question right. A, with the power-up crowbar. B, find the magic scuba gear and warp to World 8-4. Ooh, that's a jump. C, go through the warp pipe that leads to Hyrule, where Mario will surface and help Link battle Ganon. I wish. That'd be a fun game. Where's that game, Nintendo? D, you don't. You're trapped. No one has ever found a way out, and if you do, send us a picture. We'd love to see it. You gotta love how Nintendo Power kind of hedged their bets there at the end, just in case that, somebody else found something that they didn't. The correct answer, is D, in case you didn't already know. D is the right answer. You don't get out of the minus world. It is a glitch that you're stuck in. I wonder if the Super Mario Brothers movie is gonna have a minus world section. If that's how it ends, he gets stuck in the minus world and can't escape. It's got to have some sort of reference to it, right? Not in this one, maybe one of the sequels. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to number 3. Is Nestor the son of Howard Phillips? All right, this is going to require a little context, I think. Nestor, if you were not a Nintendo Power reader, Nestor was a comic book character. He was half of the Howard and Nestor comic, which ran throughout the entire run of Nintendo Power. Howard Phillips, of course, at that time was the head of Nintendo of America. So, is Nestor the son of Howard Phillips? A, yes, note the family resemblance. B, no, Nestor is Howard's little brother, note the family resemblance. C, no, though there does seem to be a strong resemblance. And finally, D, no, Nestor is a fictional character created by Howard Phillips. His name means NES, as in the Nintendo Entertainment System, Nestor, though there is a strong family resemblance. I mean, okay, there are technically 2 right answers here, C and D. A and B are wrong, but C is just a flat-out no, but D gets into more detail. I'm going to go with that because that is the origin of the name and all that stuff. I'm going to go D. It's a fictional character created by Howard Phillips. All right, moving on to number 4. Is there an adapter that allows one to play another video game system's games on the NES? You know what? That is a good idea. It just sort of goes to show that even back then, Nintendo was thinking. Nintendo knew. They knew what gamers wanted. A, no. Nor can you play our games on any other system. B, yes, but it requires strong mental powers to operate it. C, yes, and it sells for only $20,000,095. Donald Trump? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, sorry folks, I did not mean for that to come up during this. Oh. All right, Donald Trump owns the only one we know of. Oh, that's unfortunate timing. D, oh sure. And we gave one to, the Tooth Fairy. Yeah, that's it. The Tooth Fairy, yeah. And one to, Santa Claus. Yeah, that's the ticket. And we're gonna send one to everybody in the country, universe. Yeah, that's it. The entire universe. Yeah. Oh boy, well there's a lot of sarcasm there on D. A little unneeded sarcasm. Unfortunately, back then, the answer is A. No, nor can you play our games on any other system. I don't know if that's necessarily true these days, but it was back then, so the answer is A. Moving on to number 5. Will a player get free games, money, a trip to Europe, true love, a place in heaven, etc., if he or she defeats Ganon, Mike Tyson, Bowser, Wart, the Mother Brain, Medusa, etc.? A, no. Only immortality and a guest shot on Letterman. I mean, I get to do the top 10? I always wanted to do the top 10. B, no. Nintendo is not conducting a contest which awards prizes for defeating any specific characters in our games. I mean, that's the right answer. C, you mean you haven't gotten yours yet? D, no. You can only receive an adapter like the one that Donald Trump has. Oh my God. The answer's B. 6. Was Nintendo on strike? Did it burn down? Was it buried in an earthquake? Or did any other catastrophic event take place in Nintendo during Christmas of 1987? That's an oddly specific question there, Nintendo Power. A, no, just a giant meteor. B, no, just that Amityville thing. That's a fun game idea, right? A haunted Nintendo of America. C, no, fortunately nothing like that happened, just the usual chaos. And D, yes, all of that happened. But it was just another typical day here at Nintendo. All right, the answer is C. Nothing like that happened. You would have heard something about that, even if you were too young. 7. Is it possible to order games directly from Nintendo? A. No, we do not sell directly to the public. B. No, we do not sell directly to the public. C. No, we do not sell directly to the public. D. Read our lips. We do not sell directly to the public. You should visit your local retailer. I mean, all 4 of those are right. I guess D is the most right. That's the one that they want us to answer with, I guess. Read our lips. By the way, of course, a George Bush reference during the campaign. He, read my lips, no new taxes. He lost re-election. All right. 8. If you hold the map of Hyrule up to a mirror, which state does it appear to resemble? A. The state of Antarctica. B. The state of Mars. C. The state of Washington. Or D. The state of confusion. I mean, only one of those is really a state. I live in the state of Washington, and I know that, of course, Nintendo of America is stationed here, or is stationed's the wrong word, located here. Is that true, that if you hold up the map of Hyrule, it looks like the state of Washington? I'm going to have to do this right after this quiz, because I don't know if I ever knew that. That's a fun little piece of trivia. I'm going with the state of Washington just because it's local. Number 9, when sending a letter to Nintendo, is it best to include which of the following in the letter and on the envelope? A, my full name, address, and zip code. Sure, that makes sense. B, Super Bowl tickets. I actually think the Super Bowl prefers it if you called it the big game tickets. C, very legible handwritten and preferably typewritten words. D, all the above. Well, is it best to include which of the following in the letter? I guess the name and address and zip code, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. And of course the Super Bowl tickets is the joke. I think I gotta go with C. Yeah, C, very legible, handwritten, and preferably typewritten words. I mean, they want that when transcribing it onto the magazine, so I mean, that makes sense. Let's go. Number 10. How does one find the Rainbow World on Super Mario Brothers? What? Rainbow World? A, you don't. There's no such thing. B, by looking through a prism. C, by creating a fine mist in front of your video monitor and then shining a light through it. D, duck under the lava at the base of Mother Brain's pedestal. Rainbow World. I mean, there's Rainbow Road in Super Mario Kart. I'm going with A. You don't. There's no such thing. Not in the first Super Mario Brothers. What are you talking about, Nintendo? Number 11, when does Kid Icarus's adventure take place? Is it A, B, C, B, A, D, C, A and B, or D, we're confused? I mean, it takes place in BC. So A, nice and simple. Number 12, the very best way to get video game information, secrets, and tips is A, to trade your little brother for them. B, in institutions of higher learning. C, to read Nintendo Power. Or D, to call Nestor. They want you to say C, read Nintendo Power, so I'm gonna say that. I would argue that you're gonna find out more information from, say, Electronic Gaming Monthly or GamePro or one of the other magazines that doesn't just cover Nintendo. But hey, you do you, Nintendo Power. I get where you're coming from. And with that, we're going to move on to the final question of this very first NES trivia contest. And that's number 13. One of the very first video games was called Super Wheel Brothers. B. Donkey Soar. C. Og's Punch-Out. Or D. Pong. Or something like that. Look, I gotta hand it to Nintendo Power. It's nice that they at least had one question that didn't have all that much to do with a Nintendo game. The answer is D. Pong. Or something like that. Obviously, that's not really the very first video game, but it is one of the very first video games. And it was called Pong, though there are a bunch of imitators, and that's a whole history lesson we could get into, but we're not going to do that because we still have 2 more quizzes to go through. So let's now rewind back to where we started, and let's see how I did. So now it says that each question is worth 10 points. If you even read this page, give yourself 20 points. Then add up your score. So, okay, we're gonna start at the beginning here. Question 1. How many minus worlds are contained in Super Mario Brothers? The correct answer is A. I got that one right. 2. How does one get out of the minus world at the end of World 1-2? The answer is D. You don't. Got that one right. 3. Is Nestor the son of Howard Phillips? The correct answer on that one is also D. Got that one right. 4. Is there an adapter which allows one to play another video game system's games on the NES? I said A, which is no, and that is the correct answer. Will a player get free games, money, a trip to Europe, true love, a place in heaven, etc. if he or she defeats Ganon, Mike Tyson, Bowser Wart, the Mother Brain, Medusa, etc.? And of course, no, Nintendo is not conducting a contest like that. That is the correct answer. Moving on to 6. Was Nintendo on strike? Did it burn down? Was it buried in an earthquake? Or did any other catastrophic event take place at Nintendo during Christmas of 1987? The answer to that is no, fortunately nothing. That's C. I got that one right. On a roll here, folks. 7. Is it possible to order games directly from Nintendo? Any of those answers would be right. I put D. That is right. 8. If you hold the map of Hyrule up to a mirror, which state does it appear to resemble? Oh my god, it really is C? It is the state of Washington, huh? I'm going to have to test that out. I did not realize that. You learn something every day here, folks. Number 9. When sending a letter to Nintendo, is it best to include which of the following in the letter and on the envelope? I put C. The correct answer is C. Very legible handwriting. How does one find the Rainbow World in Super Mario Brothers? There is no Rainbow World. That's A. I got it right. Number 11. When does Kid Icarus's adventure take place? Let's see here. We got A is 2 answers here would be accepted. A or D. A, which is BC, which is what I said, or D, we're confused. Okay. 12. The very best way to get video game information, secrets, and tips is, it's to read Nintendo Power, obviously. And finally, one of the very first video games was called Pong. D, or something like that. So good on you for that, Nintendo Power. So, since I got all that right, and I got that additional 20 points just for reading this page, that means that my score is 150. So let's see here. Let's go through what happens here. If you scored less than 50, you've led a wasted life. I agree. 50 to 60, power player to B. 61 to 70, cooking with a microwave. 71 to 80. You see, we're way past any of these. These do not count to us. 71 to 80, power player in training. 81 to 90, power player extraordinaire. They really liked that power player thing, didn't they? 91 and more. Wait, they're just going from 91 up to 150? All right. Whoa, get down. If you can't figure your score, you're better off. Congratulations to all. All right. Well, I scored 150. Let's move on to the next quiz. And we're back with the world's second NES Power Trivia Quiz, which was published in issue 11, which was the March-April 1990 issue of Nintendo Power. This quiz, well, it's a bit shorter. This only has 8 questions. I think it's going to be the exact same format. It looks like we have a question and then 4 answers, most of them probably jokey. We'll see how much this one leans into the humor. The last one, it tried. It definitely tried. See how many Donald Trump references there are. Let's just jump into this here. This is welcome to the 2nd annual Power Trivia Quiz. It's your chance to test your wits and see how much you really know about your Nintendo Entertainment System. I know quite a bit, as I mentioned earlier. So, let's jump into question number 1. Why does Howard Phillips like bow ties? Again, if you don't know who Howard Phillips is, he liked bow ties. There's a picture of him right there. You can barely see the bow tie. A, regular ties dip into your soup. B, regular ties swing up on corners. C is just like tying your shoes. Or D, all of the above. Oh. Oh no. Those are some dumb answers. And they're probably all right. I think that's the thing, right? I think that it's all those dumb answers. I think it's D, all the above. We're going with D, folks. Number 2, what is Mario and Luigi's last name? Is it A, brothers, B, Mario, C, cereal, or D, some questions just don't have answers? All right. So, in that Super Mario Brothers movie that came out in the 1990s, we all know there's a whole scene where they established that Mario and Luigi's last name is Mario. It's Mario Mario and Luigi Mario. I'm guessing that is not canon, because that's dumb. But it was around the time that this issue came out, right? It would have only been like a year or 2 apart. I don't think I'm right on this, but I'm going with D again. Some questions just don't have answers. I really hope that's the right answer, but I'm worried that is not. All right. Number 3, the NES satellite is A, a remote console that allows 4 controllers to be connected at once. B, an orbiting relay satellite that beams the Super Mario Power Hour and Captain N into 100 million homes. C, the acronym for NASA's National Earth Studies Satellite. Or D, Nestor's secret weapon to beat Howard Phillips's game scores. Well, at least they tried a little bit with this question, with these answers. The correct answer, by the way, is A. It was a remote console thing that you plugged 4 controllers into. What was cool about it is it was wireless, so you could plug the wired controls into it, and it would be away from the console. It was, it was high tech for its time. Moving on, number 4. What is the prescribed method for cleaning your Nintendo Entertainment System? A, do nothing. B, send it to the cleaners. C, use the NES cleaning kit, following all instructions to the letter, or else. Or D, spit and wipe. I noticed that they don't mention anything about blowing on the cartridges. Look, we know what the deal is here, folks. We know they're trying to sell us on these cleaning kits. Use the NES cleaning kit, follow all instructions to the letter, or else. That is the correct answer. 5. How much damage would your NES suffer if you were to pour a chocolate milkshake inside it? I bet there's a video of someone doing that on YouTube. A, none whatsoever. Yeah. Milk is actually good for a growing computer. B, depends on if the milkshake contains whole or skim milk. C, a lot, which is why smart players never place drinks or food near their control deck. Man, you remember when they were calling consoles control decks? D, not much compared to if you put an entire cow inside. Jokes. Right, control deck. That's the correct answer, C. C is the correct answer for control deck. Moving on. Number 6. If someone asks you a particularly tricky question concerning Dragon Warrior and you don't know the answer, do you make up an answer to get rid of them? That is obviously the right answer. B, tell them that you have no idea what they're babbling about. C, nod knowingly and walk away, leaving them to wonder. Or D, find the real answer in a back issue of Nintendo Power. You see what Nintendo's doing here. All right. The correct answer is D. However, this is a PSA for all of you gamers out there. If you don't know the right answer, just admit it. Just say, hey, I don't know. Google it. Watch a playthrough. It's Dragon Warrior. How hard can it be? Number 7. If you find a mistake in Nintendo Power, you should A, ignore it. After all, we're only human. B, mistake in Nintendo Power? We never make mistakes. C, write in if you feel like it, but realize we probably already found it and we're really embarrassed about it. Or D, mark it with a red pen like your teacher does. I mean, because as somebody who has written for a long time and definitely made my share of mistakes, none of these apply to what most people do. I honestly don't know what the right answer is on this one. I mean, like, I know they're being funny with the mark it with a red pen like your teacher does, but that seems like something they would want you to do. Personally speaking, I'm really leaning, though, towards A, ignore it. After all, we're only human. That would be the response I would hope for. You know, if you see somebody make a dumb mistake, you go, you know what? They probably just glossed over it. Should have had a proofreader. It's a red pen or we're only human. I'm going with A, but I think that's wrong. Ignore it. After all, we're only human. And finally, number 8. How does one arrange to get a tour of Nintendo? A, due to the highly confidential nature of the video games industry, we do not give tours of Nintendo headquarters. B, just come to the front door and ask for Howard Phillips. Be sure to bring World Series or Super Bowl tickets. Hey, the big game gets another shout out. C, it's almost impossible. Getting a tour of Nintendo headquarters is about as easy as meeting Michael Jackson. I mean, you know, it depends on if you were a kid or not. D, write a letter to President Bush. Yeah, 1990. Okay. How does one arrange to get a tour of Nintendo? Due to the highly confidential nature of the video game industry, we do not give tours. Okay. Well, obviously, it's not B and it's not D. It's almost impossible, or we do not give tours. The Michael Jackson thing's throwing me off when it comes to C. But they're really overselling the confidentiality thing when it comes to A. So I guess it comes down to it's impossible or we do not give tours, which is pretty similar. Is it impossible? It hedges a little bit on C. It's almost impossible. I think they've had contests before where they had people tour Nintendo headquarters. So I'm going to go with C. It's almost impossible. Not impossible. Almost impossible. But at the same time, I don't think they give tours of Nintendo headquarters. So A is probably also true. All right, let's go ahead and loop back around and let's see how we did. All right, number 1, why does Howard Phillips like bow ties? The answer that I said is D, and that is the correct answer. All of the above. Yep, that sounds about right. Number 2, what is Mario and Luigi's last name? It is not Mario. That is not canon. Don't expect that to be in the Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out next week. Oh my goodness, it's just a few days away. D is the right answer. That's what I said. The NES Satellite is a remote console that allows 4 controllers to be connected at once. I knew that one. I owned the NES Satellite, and it was pretty cool. Number 4, what is the prescribed method for cleaning your NES? And of course, yes, it is to use the NES cleaning kit. They wanted to sell those. So C is the right answer. 5, How much damage would your NES suffer if you were to pour a chocolate milkshake inside of it? Again, I went with C, a lot, which is why smart players never place drinks or food near their control deck. See, and then I got all hung up on the use of the term control deck, because that is old-timey. That is also the correct answer. 6. If someone asks you a particularly tricky question concerning Dragon Warrior and you don't know the answer, do you? They want you to say D. Find the answer in a back issue of Nintendo Power, which means that you need to do all the research. What you really should do, however, is just give that person a big stack of Nintendo Powers and then let them find the answer. 7. If you find a mistake in Nintendo Power, you should. I put A. Ignore it. After all, we're only human. However, they said the correct answer is D. Mark it with a red pen like your teacher does. No, that's dumb. A should be the... whatever. 8. How does one arrange to get a tour of Nintendo? And this is the one I was a little iffy on. I was going back and forth between A and C. I put C. The correct answer is C. It's almost impossible. Not impossible, almost impossible. Getting a tour of Nintendo headquarters is about as easy as meeting Michael Jackson. But again, depending on who you are, it was pretty easy to meet Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. So hey, I got 7 out of 8 correct there. That's 80 points. We don't get a 20-point boost just for reading the page. So there's that. So there you go. We got 7 out of 8. Let's move on to Nintendo Power's final April quiz. So after doing a couple of these April quizzes in 1989 and 1990, Nintendo Power decided to skip 1991 and then bring it back with Super Nintendo questions in 1992 before just never doing it again after that. This is the third and final quiz. However, it is no longer named after the NES. This is just the Power Trivia quiz for Nintendo Power Animals only. Are you a avid Nintendo Power reader? You'll have to be in order to answer all of these questions correctly. Some of the questions deal with past issues, so break out your stack of old Nintendo Power magazines. Well, these, I kind of scanned these a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie to you, they don't look very funny. I think this is actually going to be a pretty genuine quiz here, and it may actually be pretty tough. This one might stump me. So let's just go ahead and dive into question number 1, and yeah, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Question number 1. As of February 1992, approximately how many games have been released for each Nintendo system? So we got the Nintendo Entertainment System, we got the Game Boy, and we got the Super Nintendo. And then there's a bunch of numbers for each of those, as you can hopefully see on the screen. And you see what's going on here. You can choose just like I'm going to do. I'm not going to read all the numbers here, but I want to talk myself through these because I don't actually know the right answer to this. It says approximately, but then these are all just super exact numbers, like 391, 466, and stuff like that. Let's start with the Nintendo Entertainment System. I assume this is just going to be in North America. So it's February 1992. The Super Nintendo's been out for about 6 months or so, maybe a little under that. It came out in September. So the NES is winding down a bit. I know it had over 500 games total. But what did it have in 1992? I think it definitely by that point it would have had a huge majority. I don't think it's as high as 629. And 505 is just over 500. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going with 543. That's D for the NES. For the Game Boy, okay, so 1992, Game Boy came out in 1989. It was incredibly popular. 210 and 218 are real close together. Those are very close. I wonder if that's done on purpose to throw us off, like it's 210 or it's 218. I hate to do D again because I just did D for the NES. So is it as high as 218? I know it's not as low as 97 and 139 and 176. Yeah, I'm going with 218. And then for the Super Nintendo, like I said, about 6 months, give or take. It launched with a handful of games. Then a bunch of stuff came to it. It wasn't like the Nintendo 64 launch where there were only 2 games and then, 6 months later there were 5 games. It had a grip of games right after. Like ActRaiser wasn't a launch title but came 2 months later or something like that. So, I'm going between 28 and 39. I'm going to say 39. I think it might be 28 though. So my answer to question 1 is 543, 218, and 39. So D-E-D. All right. Question 2. How many years has Nintendo Power been published? Okay, so this is the April 1992 issue. We know issue 5 was April of 1989, and we know that those early issues were every other month. So it would have been either March, April, or April, May. I forget which it was. And so that puts us back to 1988. So I guess it would be C, 4 years. I think that's the right answer. These are tougher. I need some joke answers here, folks. Number 3. Which game was not featured on a cover of Nintendo Power? Oh, well, this is going to be easy. A, Super C. Nope, that had a cover. That had a real good cover. That was a good one. B, Super Mario Brothers. C, Tetris. D, Track and Field 2. Or E, none of the above. They were all featured. Tricky. They were not all featured. Super C, Tetris, and Track and Field 2 all had one. You should go look up that Track and Field 2 one. It's wacky. It's absolutely crazy. No, the right answer is Super Mario Brothers, because the very first issue of Nintendo Power was Super Mario Brothers 2. They never did the very first Super Mario Brothers. So B is the right answer. 4. Which game has not been released yet, but has been reviewed in Nintendo Power? Oh, no. Okay. February 1992. A, Daydreamin' Davy. B, Power Blade. C, Metal Storm. D, Worm. And E, Iron Sword. I'm trying to remember, did one of those just not come out? I know Power Blade did. I know Metal Storm did. That even got a re-release from Retrobit. My name's in the instruction manual in that. D, Worm, I know that came out, and Iron Sword. I played Daydreamin' Davy through emulation, but I don't remember if did that just not come out? I know the other 4 did. Daydreamin' Davy's the only one that I'm even remotely iffy on. Unless this is just like a technicality question where it's that, like Metal Storm is going to come out next month in March of 1992. I couldn't tell you which year or month any of these games came out in. So I got to go with the one that I'm the least confident in, which I guess is Daydreamin' Davy. A. How many issues of Nintendo Fun Club news were published? Come on now. Come on now. A4, B5, C6, D7, E8. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These questions suck. These are nowhere near as fun as the other 2 quizzes. I need some questions that relate to Howard Phillips's bow tie, damn it. All right, how many issues of Nintendo Fun Club news were published? I don't know. I'm going with C6. It's kind of a round number. We're going with 6. I don't think that's right, though. Only a few more questions. We're almost through this. Which person has not been featured in our celebrity profile column? Oh, no. Oh, no. A, Jay Leno. B, David Letterman. C, Brian Robbins. Who the hell's Brian Robbins? D, Michael Dorn. Or E, Fred Savage. Leno, Letterman, Michael Dorn, and Fred Savage have all been in the news recently, some for better reasons than others. I don't know who Brian Robbins is. I'm sure that I'm going to look him up, and it'll be somebody who's on some crappy sitcom and never went anywhere. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that if they mention Brian Robbins, that's probably somebody that actually has been in there, since I don't know them. And Michael Dorn with the Star Trek stuff seems like somebody that would be in there. Fred Savage was a kid at the time. So for me, it comes down to Letterman or Leno, the two, well, a couple of late night titans there. Leno or Letterman. Letterman skewed older, and I think Leno is more of the everyman, or at least the safe comic. So, who's I'm going with I'm just gonna guess here. I'm going with Letterman. He seems like the kind of person that would be hard to do a profile about. I don't think he cared much about video games, but I could be wrong. Number 7. How much did a subscription to Nintendo Power magazine cost when the magazine was first published? Now, this is actually something I do remember. Was it A, free? Was it B, $5? Was it C, $9.95? Was it D, $10? Or was it E, $15? Now, I want to say that you got the first issue for free. That's what I remember. And I think that's the reason that a lot of my friends and I got the magazine in the first place. So I want to say the first issue was free. That's just how I'm remembering it. I might be wrong there. But after that, to subscribe, just from flipping through these old issues and seeing the ads for it, I'm pretty sure the answer is E, $15. Number 8. How many games has Mario made an appearance in? Oh, for crying out loud. I just did like the top 71 Super Mario Brothers game. It was, so this is, again, February 1992, so we can just ditch pretty much all the sports stuff. I don't even think Super Mario Kart had come out yet. No Mario Party, obviously. So it's either 7, 10, 16, 19, or 23. And of course, what they're doing here is they're also counting stuff like, he's technically in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! And Alleyway! And things like that, which are some of those games I didn't even include in the 71, the EGM rank 71. Oh, crying out loud. Look, by this point, by February, I gotta just go with the highest number, because I think they're just going to count everything. So I'm going with E again, which I think is 23. Yeah, it's E23. And finally, how many megs is Super Mario World? That's the 9th question. Is it 2, 4, 6, 8? None of the above. Now, you got to remember, and this is the thing that trips a lot of people up these days. Kids these days, they have no idea how small games were back in the day. Like, they see megs, and they're thinking megabyte. They're thinking, like 1 megabyte or 2 megabyte or something like that. But no. Nintendo Power is talking about megabits. It takes 8 megabits to make a megabyte, to 1 megabyte. So D is the only one that would be, for people these days would even make sense, like 1 megabyte. But that's not the right answer. Because again, games are really small. And it took a while, and they made a big deal out of it when games were 8 megabits or 24 megabits or 16 megabits or 32, as in the case of some of the Street Fighter cartridges. I'm pretty sure that the Super Mario World was 4 megabit, which is half a megabyte. So B, 4 megabits. And now I'm actually real curious how we did here. So let's jump, let's go back. In order to get the answers, I have to go to a separate magazine. I have to go to the very next issue. That's another change from past April issues. That and the fact that it's just not a funny quiz. Really, I should not have even included this quiz. This is a big departure, and no wonder they discontinued these power quizzes. All right, question number 1. As of February 1992, approximately how many games have been released for each Nintendo system? And the correct answers are, for the NES, it's 543. Hey, I got that one right. For the Game Boy, it's 176. Got that one wrong. And then for the Super Nintendo, it's 39. Hey, got that one right. Question 2. For how many years has Nintendo Power been published? And then the correct answer is C, 4 years, which is the answer that I wrote down. That is, I got that right. All right. Question 3. Which game was not featured on a cover of Nintendo Power? And I said it's B, Super Mario Brothers. That is the correct answer. They tried to trick you because Super Mario Brothers 2 was there, but not Super Mario Brothers. Number 4, which game has not been released yet, but has been reviewed in Nintendo Power? And this is kind of a guess for me. I said Daydreamin' Davy, and that is apparently the right answer. I'm gonna have to look up what happened with that one, because that's interesting. How many issues of Nintendo Fun Club News were published? That's number 5. Oh, I said 6 issues. The correct answer, 7 issues. So that's D. I got that one wrong. Which person has not been featured in our celebrity profile column? The correct answer, apparently, David Letterman, who was B. That's what I said. David Letterman has not been featured in the celebrity profile column. I guess just not his scene. Number 7. How much did a subscription to Nintendo Power magazine cost when the magazine was first published? I said E, which is $15. The right answer is E, $15, and it's still $15. Yeah, it stayed that way for a while. I think they upped it soon after this, though. How many games has Mario made an appearance in? Hey, I was right to... I guessed high. I figured they were going to count everything, and I was right. I said 23. They said 23. They didn't do their work. They didn't show us all the ones that he's been in, but apparently the answer is 23. And they included everything. That's hilarious. All right, and finally, number 9. How many megs is Super Mario World? And of course, the correct answer is 4 megs, which is what I said. That's B. And again, megabits, not megabytes. Don't get that confused. Alrighty, folks. What does that give me? It gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That gives me 90 points out of possible 110. We don't get credit for just reading the page on this one. So I think over the course of the 3 quizzes, I think I only missed 3 questions. That's not too bad. I think that's a passing grade. I think I know my NES and Nintendo Power and a little Super Nintendo. The only thing I didn't know is how many Game Boy games there were. All right. Well, that's another successful April Fool's Day. I didn't fool you, but hopefully you had some fun playing this quiz with me. We'll see what happens next year. Maybe we'll go through all of the actual April Fool's jokes in Nintendo Power. We probably won't, because they are terrible. They are terrible.